Welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. We're glad you're with us again as the Dodgers open a three-game series against the Colorado Rockies tonight at Coors Field. Dodgers might also be glad to leave town and try to get a little bit of a fresh start. But whether you're blacked out, away from a television, following along on the road, or just simply looking for a deeper way to experience Dodgers baseball, LA Press Box is your live game companion. Command Center is going to handle the live numbers as usual while we focus on recent team performance and matchups. The Dodgers arrive in Denver after a disappointing four-game series against Milwaukee. Los Angeles lost Sunday's finale 6-2, dropping 3 of 4 to the Brewers, and they had game one in their clutches before they gave it up. And also the fact that they lost yesterday gives the tiebreaker to the Brewers if, for whatever reason, we finish the regular season and there's going into the playoffs, there's the need for a tiebreaker because over the course of the regular season now, the Brewers beat the Dodgers 4-3. Tonight, the opponent changes dramatically, but the environment at Coors Field presents challenges of its own. And the Dodgers hand the baseball to Blake Snell, thankfully, making his second start since returning from elbow surgery. As far as the last 10 games go, the Dodgers are 5-5, and they've been through two dramatically different stretches within that window at home. The Dodgers finally emerged from their 7-game losing streak, swept Kansas City at Dodger Stadium, and they really seem to be generating some momentum. Then Milwaukee arrived. The Dodgers dropped 3 of 4, including Sunday's 6-2 finale. So LA has stabilized from the perspective of the losing streak, so to speak, but it hasn't established consistent winning baseball. Dave Roberts called out the team yesterday. It wasn't just one thing, although Tarek Skubal turned in a really solid outing. But they made, the Dodgers that is, some uncharacteristic errors on defense. They are not able to produce runs consistently and collectively anywhere near that they were earlier in the season. And so there's no question they have a challenge coming into Denver. The Rockies are also 5-5 over their last 10 games, and their recent performance is considerably better for them than the overall season record suggests. That's particularly important because this series is being played at Coors Field, and Colorado can play loose. They don't really have much in the way of pressure. So LA comes with the expectation of hopefully trying to be able to turn it around against a team that is ranked near the bottom of the win total for all baseball teams in the majors. But as you can see over my shoulder, the Dodgers, as we mentioned before, are handing the ball to start with to Blake Snell. The left-handed pitcher is now making the second start of his return. As far his last 3 outings, he had a rehab start in Oklahoma City and was able to build up his workload. Did the same thing with a greater workload in Oklahoma City before he came back on August 11th versus the Royals. And on that night, he had 6 innings that he pitched, and along that way, 10 strikeouts, and I believe it was only 1 walk. So this was the performance that the Dodgers had been waiting for and what they badly need continuing going forward. And things have flipped a little bit for the Dodgers because for the longest time it was the middle relief pitching and to some extent their starting pitching that was betraying them. But now it's the bats, no question about that. And that's not the only issue that the Dodgers have. But ultimately, like the Clinton administration said before they took office and they were campaigning, they said, it's the economy, stupid. For the Dodgers, it's run production, stupid. So we'll go quickly down the defensive side. You can see that Blake Snell has an ERA of 5, but that's uncharacteristic because he had 3 months off where he was not pitching as a result of his injury, and his injury made it obvious that he had loose bodies in his elbow, and he had to have surgery at that point. And so that ERA is a very small sample size, plus it's inflated as a result of his injury. As you can see, Kevin Fiducia gets a start behind the plate today, and then Freddie Freeman at first, Tommy Edman at second, Mookie Betts at third, Betts at short, Muncy at third, Hernandez in left field, Pages in center, and Tucker in right, who got booed at Dodger Stadium. So there's one Dodger who's kind of glad to leave. He got booed after dropping a ball that was a little bit challenging and hit deep. And the sun probably had a little bit to do with it. It's not an excuse. But I've been to Dodger Stadium many times, and I know at that exact time of day, he was kind of looking straight into the sun at about 3:30 p.m. But I think it was also frustration with the hundreds of millions of dollars the Dodgers have committed to him, and he was hitless in that homestand. He was 0 for 19, I think. So I think at that point it was kind of an opportune moment for Dodgers fans to express their dissatisfaction. What that defense and Blake Snell will be facing is in the one spot, Jake McCarthy in left field, who has a batting average of close to 300. As you can see, he is elite in two categories, followed by Jordan Beck in right field, Cole Carrick in center. Cleanup spot will be Willie Castro at third base. Fifth spot, TJ Rumfield at first, then Norby at second, Amador as the DH, Sullivan at catcher, and Ezekiel Tovar brings up the rear at shortstop. On the other side of the ledger, the Rockies counter with veteran right-hander Tomoyuki Sugano. Sugano isn't going to attack the Dodgers lineup with overwhelming velocity. Maybe that's a good thing, because the thing that, ironically, the Dodgers have struggled the most with is the fastball. But he can get them with command, changing speeds, sequencing, and ultimately inducing manageable contact for his defense, which you can see just below him. His record is 12-5 with an ERA of 4.43. His whip is 1.25. 66 strikeouts to 26 walks. I'll mention it, but I'm not going to dwell on it. You can see right below that he's facing a Dodgers offense that ranks in the top 10, pretty much top 5 in every batting category. But that's not the offense he's going to face today. Well, I'd like him to face that offense today. That's not the offense that's shown the last couple of weeks. Shohei Ohtani is leading off as usual as the DH. Then Freddie Freeman's in second spot, Andy Pages in third. So it's one of those games where they flip from their usual positions. Then Max Muncy will be in cleanup. Mookie Betts in the fifth spot, Kyle Tucker in right field, and you can see there he's batting .232. One of the things that's been really frustrating about Kyle Tucker's production offensively is that he's better on the road, although not much, than he is at home. I think at home his batting average is below 200, and so he was even more ripe to getting boos. So hopefully the fact that he's on the road will mean a little better production. I mean, it can't be any worse. Tommy Edman at second base, hitting .265. Teoscar is at .250, and then bringing up the rear is the catcher, Hunter Fiducia. All right, as you can see, we've got about a minute and a half until the first pitch. And so, as always, this is the time for you to grab a drink and whatever snack you might like for the game. And then we'll be back shortly once the 3D loads. All right, Shohei Ohtani just about to walk to the batter's box. We're about a minute or two late, but we know we want to be locked in as much as possible when Shohei and the team is on the road and he's leading off because he has a knack for hitting leadoff home runs. Shohei is at 27 home runs for this season, and if you're joining us for the first time, not only welcome, but I want to make sure you understand that what you're seeing is a 3D simulation of what the players are actually doing in real time. Great technology that tracks every player's movement. It's illegal for us or any live streamer to show you actual footage of what's happening in the game. And that's why we're your companion. And there we go. Dodgers and Rockies had a good series the last time they played. I like the Rockies uniforms. And again, my favorite color is black. But I like purple with black. And it's funny how spoiled we are. I guess that's part of who we are as LA fans, Dodgers fans included. Because during the last broadcast, we had somebody, good friend, saying, oh man, might as well just look forward to next year at this point. Already kind of tempted to give up on this season. But as I reminded him, this time last year, the Dodgers had a worse record than they have right now. They are 4 games better than they were this time last year. We all know they won the championship the last 2 seasons. Now, Shohei Ohtani is not playing catcher there. That's part of the charm of the 3D system. Still getting worked out. And they're reporting that the game time temperature is 94 degrees. So the first pitch to Ohtani is in there for a strike. Ohtani for several weeks now looking more stable at the plate, less wild in terms of his contact, and grounds that one down to the first base side, but they're able to grab it before it curled into the corner and make the play at first for the first out of the game. So that brings up Freddie Freeman, who in his career for the Dodgers is batting .331 at Coors Field, and tonight batting in the second spot. He was on a hitting streak until he went home, and during that time, only batting .191. But needless to say, I mean, that's kind of baseball. Things can turn around very quickly. Looks at the first pitch for a strike. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. This is a real-time 3D simulation of what is exactly happening in the game. It's actually illegal to show you the broadcast, and so that's why we're a companion. And we are hopefully a replacement if you're not able to watch the broadcast for whatever reason. And that ball, low. And the count to Freeman now is 1-2. Rockies have won 2/3 of the games where Sugano has started. So a bright spot for them on the pitching staff, definitely. That misses, though, and the count's 2-2. Pitch on the way. And Freeman lines it to the left and foul, out of play. Next pitch on the way from Sagano, who's very deliberate, and this one is grounded to second, backhanded by Norby, and thrown to first for the second out of the inning. And that brings up Andy Pages, batting an even 270 on the season. First pitch to Pages is grounded to third and picked up by Castro and thrown well in time. And so very quick 1-2-3 as the Dodgers' first three batters all hit the ball on the ground. And we go to the bottom of the first and we're scoreless. All right, so Blake Snell takes the mound. Second start after his rehab assignment and battling back over the course of 3 months to get back to the starting rotation with the Dodgers. And the last time he pitched, he threw 10 strikeouts. We're watching a real-time 3D simulation. Shows you exactly what the players are doing as this very first pitch is hit deep into the corner left by McCarthy and just trails out of play. So really long first strike and a deep breath from Snell, who's kind of funny. They had a lot of cameras in his face after the last game about the number of strikeouts and his rehab assignment. And he just seemed like a guy that's kind of oh boy, like he just rolled out of bed. I'll put it that way. I was talking about how, man, if I was stuck in Oklahoma City, I don't think I'd be able to pitch. Everything was just upside down for me. And it was very different, obviously, when he came back to Dodger Stadium. And that one's also fouled off. So the early count to McCarthy is 0-2. McCarthy's batting .296 on the season with 13 home runs, 67 RBI. And if you're with us for the first time, welcome. Go ahead and give us a like. I'd love for you to subscribe. Use our 3D capture system to be able to show what it is that you want to see. Sometimes we can spin it and take a look at how big the lead is. See different perspectives, and we're open as a new channel to what it is that you want to see. Something you can't do with television, you can't control that. And this one is grounded to first. Freddie Freeman picks it up and underhands it to Snell for the first out. So good communication and one away. So Snell starts with 5 pitches to McCarthy. Now he's going to face Jordan Beck, who's only batting 194. However, he's batting over 300 versus lefties, and of course, that's what Blake Snell is. Beck only has 1 home run and only 10 RBI on the season. And that one's a fastball, catches the bottom portion of the strike zone, 96 miles an hour. And that one catches the strike zone, counts 0-2. You'd be surprised. It didn't take very long for Blake Snell to get his first strikeout. He averaged almost 2 per inning against the Royals in his first game back. And he starts with a strikeout here. That one was in the dirt, low and inside, but it didn't matter. Beck was fooled. So that brings up Carrig. First pitch to Carrig is chopped right back to Snell. He picks it up, throws to first, no problem. And 1-2-3 very quickly. Low pitch count is something we always like to see, along with the occasional strikeout, and even more importantly, no long home runs early from the Dodgers pitching staff. We'll see if that trend continues and Blake Snell continues to click after this. But at the end of 1, it's the Dodgers 0 and it's the Rockies 0. All right, Max Muncy set to come to bat for the Dodgers. His first look at Zagano tonight. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. Muncy's batting .249 on the season, second on the Dodgers with his home run total at 24. And recently, during the last homestand, Muncy became the all-time leading home run hitter at Dodger Stadium, passing Eric Karros. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Let us know in the chat if you're rooting for the Dodgers or the Rockies. Put a 1 if you're rooting for the Dodgers, as Max Muncy swings and misses at a well-placed, low outside corner strike. And if you're rooting for the Rockies, put a 2 in the chat. Ooh, and that's way inside to Max Muncy. Count now to him is 3-1. And that pitch is way inside, and Muncy walks, which is an opportunity for the Dodgers. Hi, Charlie. You want to come up? Come on up. And one of the things that Dave Roberts said, the Dodgers manager recently, is that the Dodger batters have to be a lot more selective. They have to be more disciplined. We were saying the exact same thing last game. Mookie Betts comes up in the 5 spot, batting .236. He looks at a ball. I mean, they have all of these veteran batters, and one thing they should have in common is the ability to judge whether a ball is going to be a strike or a ball. And so they should put pressure on opposing pitchers, make a lot of pitches, and to put them in the strike zone. Otherwise, load up the bases. Mookie looks at that one. Well, the count's 1-1. That one is down, and now the count's 2-1. Next pitch to Mookie Betts on the way. And it is cracked into left center. This one's going to definitely roll away to the fence. And I think Muncy's going to score. Yes, he is. Mookie Betts almost rounded second and went to third, but he's held up by the third base coach, Dino Evil. And the Dodgers strike first. And those 2 at-bats are what we need more of. We need more discipline, more patience at the plate. Use our veteran eyes to do so, rather than trying to chase balls out of the strike zone and make something happen that's not meant to happen. So now Kyle Tucker comes up in the 6th spot, who got booed at Dodger Stadium, batting only .232 on the season with 11 home runs. Higher part of his average, if you compare home and away, is playing on the road. And he looks at that one outside. So hopefully the message from Dave Roberts is sticking. Mookie Betts with a stand-up double at second. That one misses outside, and the count's 2-0. And the next pitch kind of jams up Kyle Tucker, and it's flied short and foul, but the catch is made for the first out of the inning. So another pretty poor at bat by Kyle Tucker. That's going to bring up Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman's batting .265 on the season with 4 home runs. Did hit a home run during that home stand. Hit the home run against the Milwaukee Brewers. He has 23 RBI on the season. Pitch outside, and Edmonds ahead in the count, 2-0. It looks like some of the Dodgers hitters are being more selective to start this game. Next pitch just catches the lower edge of the strike zone. Now the count's 2-1. Now takes a glance at second, and after he delivers the pitch, it's fouled back into the chest, which is causing the catcher to walk off the pain and discomfort. Although usually into the chest, because the chest is pretty well protected. That's what they call that vest, is a chest protector. Doesn't create a situation like that. Although if you catch it at the wrong time, at the wrong breathing rhythm, it could knock the wind out of you just a little bit, but he's going to be okay. Dodgers have lost 11 of the last 16 games. But they have the best record on the road of all baseball teams. And so hopefully this is what the doctor ordered at this point, as Edmund fouls that one off and the count's 2-2. Quick run from the Dodgers, though. Max Muncy took a walk, and then Mookie Betts hit a double to the fence. It scored Max all the way around from first. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is a real-time 3D simulation of exactly what's happening in the game. And Edmund chases that one low and almost in the dirt. Catcher caught it right before it made contact with the dirt, so needless to say, it was out of the strike zone, and now there's 2 away. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez for his first at-bat today. He does have a 4-game hit streak, but he hasn't done much that's very dramatic at the plate. And I have not been very happy with his defensive effort lately. And looks at the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. And that one's fouled back, so Teo in a little bit of a hole now at 0-2. Teoscar's batting .250 on the season. 11 home runs. And Sagano glances at second at Mookie Betts, then delivers to Teo and freezes him up with strike 3. But the Dodgers score first, and we're at the middle of the second, and the Dodgers have a lead, 1-0. to the bottom of the second with Blake Snell on the mound. And so far, so good. We always like when the Dodgers, if you're a Dodger fan, have boring pitching, meaning not a lot of drama and excitement from the other team's batters. And so far, so good from Snell. He is now going to face Castro. And Willie Castro is batting .262 this season. 13 home runs, 50 RBI. As that one catches the edge of the strike zone. That one's low for a ball, counts 1-1. See these pitches a little bit better from the other side. And big swing and miss at a curveball that was well low, so completely fooled Castro. It counts 1-2 to him. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Tell us in the chat whether you're rooting for the Dodgers or the Rockies. Put a 1 in the chat for Dodgers and 2 in the chat for Rockies. Next pitch from Blake Snell, and it's fouled back. Good placement, though. And he's really keeping the batters early in this game off balance. Next pitch from Blake Snell. Check swing. They check with first base, and they say, yes, he went. So the second strikeout for Blake Snell, who averaged almost 2 per inning last game that he pitched against the Royals at home, coming back after a 3-month absence from injury. Now he's going to face Rumfield, the 5-hitter, batting .291. And Rumfield swings at the first pitch. It gets grounded to Freddie Freeman, and he's going to pick it up and step on the base himself. And 2 away. So Norby's up. And Norby's only got 12 at-bats versus a guy on the mound who's won 2 Pitcher of the Year awards, also known as the Cy Young Award. But Norby makes contact there. Count, however, is 0-1. Norby's batting .203. And the next pitch, fouled back as well, 0-2. Two away, 2 strikes. And the next pitch on the way from Snell to Norby is grounded to second. Picked up by Tommy Edman, thrown to first, and very quickly Blake Snell is dispatching with the Colorado Rockies batters. 3 up and 3 down, adding to the ones from the first inning, 6 up and 6 down total. And now we go to the top of the third, and the Dodgers hope to add to their early lead, 1-0. Tomoyuki Sagaro out to face Hunter Fiducia for the first time today. Catcher for the Dodgers. He and Ben Rortvedt, both recently acquired right before the trade deadline, have been taking turns behind the plate for the Dodgers. And first pitch misses low for ball one. Next pitch on the way. And Fiducia makes contact here. It's traveling deep. This is what happens at Coors Field. The ball just carries and carries and carries with the thin air, but doesn't carry far enough for a home run. And it's just a long out. And so now, Shohei Ohtani up for his second time today. He's 0 for 1. And looks at the first pitch for ball one. Last inning, the Dodgers struck first with a walk drawn by Max Muncy, and then a double right after that by Mookie Betts to score him. And this one is hit to second. Bit of a stretch, and Norby kind of kicks it, was not able to round it up. He was able to knock it down and keep it from going to the outfield. But Shohei Ohtani gets on base, and now Freddie Freeman, who's been struggling the last more than a week after a solid hitting streak, comes up, who's 0 for 1 today. First pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. Freeman is batting .298 on the season, just recently dipped below 300. However, batting .300 for his career, which is really saying something, as he continues to march towards 3,000 hits in his career. Fouls that one off. Counts 0-2. Earlier this season, he passed 2,500. Shohei Ohtani at first with one out. Sagano takes a glance over there at his Japanese compadre, so to speak, and this one misses low for a ball. Counts 1-2 to Freddie. And that one also misses. So the count now is even 2-2. Dono resettles. Takes a little long. And this one is single to right center. Freddie throws the bat. Ohtani's coming from first to third, and they're not even going to make a play there. So nice job by Freddie going down and getting a pretty low ball and golfing it where he did. And this is part of the advantage he has with that swing, that very vertical down and upswing. And the Dodgers are in business again. With only one out, they have runners at the corners. Great RBI opportunity for Pages, who the last time I looked is the best Dodger so far this season, hitting with runners in scoring position. 0 for 1 today. Batting .269 on the season. Looks at the first pitch outside for ball one. So it looks like most of the Dodgers hitters have gotten the message from Dave Roberts, who said, make the pitcher work. You are veterans. You are all-stars. Some of you are future Hall of Famers. Be disciplined. And he looks at the next one for a ball. Counts 2-0. Runners at first and third. And Sagano delivers. And Andy Pages hits that ball to center field. And Shohei Ohtani practically walks home for the second run of the game for the Dodgers. Much better patience by the Dodgers hitters. And that's exactly what we were talking about. Not only is he good at bringing home runners that are in scoring position, but Pages is in the top 20 in the major leagues in RBI. So now the Dodgers, with only one out, still have a runner in scoring position. Continue to. And there's a first and second. And Max Muncy coming up. Max Muncy was the first run scored tonight. Probably the best example so far of the Dodgers hitters having a different approach and being more disciplined, forcing the pitcher to throw strikes rather than chasing and trying to make something happen, put the whole game on their backs, which you can't do, especially in baseball. Swings and misses that one. But he drew a walk, and then Mookie Betts hit a double to the fence and left center. That's how the Dodgers scored the first time. Counts 0-2 to Muncy. And Sagano steps off the mound. Muncy steps out of the box. And Muncy chops that one foul right at first base. Count remains 0-2. The word is that Shohei is still slated to try to come back and pitch this season. We just haven't had a whole lot of information about why he's been out so long. He was pitching like gangbusters earlier in the season. For the first quarter of it, his ERA was less than 1. And that one. This is well outside for a ball, and the count's 1-2. And that pitch also misses, so good discipline by Muncy. This is what the Dodgers need more of. Drives the pitch count up for their opponents, draws more walks, and gets them distracted, and puts more pressure on them because now you have more runners on a regular basis. It takes more pressure off of the batters in the Dodgers lineup. That one is just inside, clipped the strike zone, and Muncy fouls it off and stays alive. And the next pitch misses low. Muncy pushes the count to 3-2 as the ball almost gets away from the catcher. So 3-2 pitch on the way to Muncy with 1 out and 2 on, and he takes this one for a ride. This one is going deep right, and it's going to land in the second deck for a 3-run home run. Max Muncy with a towering shot. And he knew as soon as he hit it, he just stood there and admired it. And in the second deck, they just lost track of the ball. The camera just lost track of it. Wow, what a blast. So home run number 25 for Max Muncy, his 5th this year at this stadium, Coors Field. He absolutely tortured that baseball. I don't know that he can really hit it any farther. And now Mookie Betts comes up, who's 1 for 1 with a double. And he looks at that pitch. Counts 1-1. So Dodgers hitters so far definitely showing that they got the message. You know, and if they all fall into line, they're going to be so difficult, so formidable. I mean, they can literally flip the switch. When you're struggling and you're in a slump, I get it. You know, but even then, when you're struggling, let's say somebody like Kyle Tucker, one easy way to get out of the slump is just to make the opposing pitcher work harder. And that one misses low. Now Betts is up in the count, 3-1. Next pitch from Sagano to Betts. And it was a little bit outside, and Betts fouled it off. Now the count's full. Betts is batting .238 on the season. And this one is swung on, and it's fly to center field. Carrick runs to his left a little bit, but it shouldn't be any trouble. It's not. Makes the catch for the second out of the inning. And speaking of Kyle Tucker, here he comes. So hopefully Kyle Tucker heeds the advice and sees what's working for the rest of his teammates, and that is being patient, and he does on the first pitch, watches it flop in there for ball 1. This pitch also misses outside for ball 2. You know, Kyle Tucker's, he's athletic, relatively speaking, as far as major leaguers go. Does a nice job generally in the field, and so, you know, you get on base and contribute some other way to your team if you walk. That is part of the mindset of just kind of flipping a switch and being more productive at the plate. So the count now is 3-0. And Tucker on the verge of a walk. And that one he swings at and pops it up behind second base. Norby's going back, but he relents, and that is 3 away. But the Dodgers, thanks in part to Max Muncy's towering shot, 3-run homer, are off to an early lead and off to the races, we hope. Going to the bottom of the third, and now the Dodgers are at 5, Rockies 0. right, before we get back to the action, show you right now with our command center, which is always updating live and instantly, where that puts Andy Pages and Max Muncy in terms of RBIs and home runs. So Andy Pages, that's his 79th. As you can see that down here, that gold box shows that he's in the top 20. So is Max Muncy now in terms of home runs, now that he's hit his 25th. So that brings up Amador. And first pitch for Blake Snell misses outside. But Snell has retired the first 6 batters. Amador's 1 for 2 this season, so he's only had 2 at-bats, and that's why he's batting .500. That was a home run. And that one, Amador chases in the dirt. And the official stats are in. That home run by Max Muncy was 461 feet, which is officially the longest and furthest home run hit by a Dodger this season. And that one misses, and Snell walks his first player of the game. So Amador walks. One on, nobody out. That brings up the 8-hitter, Sullivan. His first time facing Blake Snell tonight, batting .241 on the season. Has 7 home runs on the season, 26 RBI. Snell shakes off a couple of suggestions for what to pitch and throws that in there for a strike. Snell, as the lefty, glancing over at first. Glancing over there a couple of times to hold the runner. And delivers. Pitch low and outside for ball 1. Next pitch, just outside for a ball. That counts 2-1. So Snell falling behind here. He grimaces as he does. And so does he miss with the next pitch. So he's behind here, 3-1. As the Rockies try to get something started for the first time today. Nobody out, and runner at first. Let's see if he's got any kind of a lead over here. Not much. Pretty modest, excuse me, as that one is fouled back by Sullivan, and the count's full. Next one is fouled off, and the count is full. After it was fouled off, it bounced off of the face mask of the catcher. But it looks like Fiducia's okay. So far, Dodgers have 5 runs on 5 hits. Needless to say, welcome to see that kind of run production early in a game, which has not been the trend lately. And Sullivan fouls that one. It's now kind of funny from a standpoint of his eye contact during the game. It looks like before he pitches, when they cut to the camera that's over on the first base side and show him, it looks like he's breaking the fourth wall and looking directly into the camera. And the next pitch misses, and he walks Sullivan. So now, with no outs, 2 straight walks send runners to first and second, the Colorado Rockies. That's going to bring up Ezequiel Tovar. 9 hitters, only batting .208 on the season. And that first pitch is in there for a strike. And that pitch misses high. That's become a trend this inning. So Snell somehow off with finishing his throwing motion. Either releasing too soon, too much weight back in his stance when he delivers. But I think it's releasing too soon. Unlike when we watched Tarek Skubal, who has a habit of kind of looking almost like he's falling back when he follows through after he releases the ball. Snell releases low. His body language is definitely leaning forward. So in his case, it's got to be just too early of a release. As he gets Tovar to swing and miss that. But Snell's not looking happy. He's exasperated when he gets the ball back. He's feeling, obviously, like he doesn't have the command that he wants. He's going to have to battle through it. That one misses high as well. So now the count's full, 3-2. And Snell walks off the mound. Kind of makes a token move. Doesn't pretend to try to throw, but just kind of walks at the runner at second base. And then reloads. And throws high again to Tovar. So 3 straight batters. Just walks them all. And his base is loaded. So needless to say, it's a time for a conference at the mound, if for no other reason but to give Blake Snell a little bit of a break and a chance to reset. I mean, this is a classic example of why you'd have a conference at the mound. Nobody out, bases loaded. And technically, the Rockies have the tying run on deck. And now Jake McCarthy comes up, the top of the order for the Rockies. He's 0 for 1, but he's batting .295. And after the conference is over, our real-time 3D simulator, which is attached to every player and the umpires in the game, showing you exactly what's happening, is about ready to show you what's next for the Dodgers. He jumped out to an early lead with disciplined bats, trips to the plate, willing to look at first and early pitches. A 3-run blast by Max Muncy for the longest and furthest home run by a Dodger this season. Dodgers, of course, would love a double play, especially if it included a play to the plate first. And after McCarthy fouls that one back, counts 0-2. A good timeout at this point, and a good conference on the mound to be able to get Snell to reset. And I'm a little surprised here to see the Dodgers outfield not shifted over against the lefty, McCarthy, who fouls it just out of play to the right. And you can see back here where Kyle Tucker is in right field. You can kind of see that black spot between the yellow line and the red line, that he's playing kind of in right center. And I know he's kind of filling the holes, so to speak, in the infield that's shifted over. But boy, that's a big vulnerable spot along right field. So the pitch to McCarthy, and that is grounded to second. Tommy Edman chooses to go to second, and they hold the ball, don't try to turn two, and a run comes home for the Rockies. So one away, and the Rockies, after scoring their first run of the game, have runners at the corners. And McCarthy stealing at this point and easily gets to second base because Snell really didn't mind him and let him get too big a lead and then a jump. So that's on Snell. And he did the same thing last game, Snell did. But the Dodgers pitchers overall not doing a very good job of holding runners on at first, putting a lot of pressure on their catchers, to have to make throws down to second. But the thing that sucks about that is, with only one out, you don't have a double play opportunity ready-made for you. That one misses high and the count's 1-1. So 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position at second and third. And the pitch to Beck is flied up to left field. Teoscar Hernandez is coming up. It's kind of shallow. They're thinking about tagging, but they don't. Teo made that play easily and then fired to the chest of Max Muncy, who was in cutoff position, right in the middle of the diamond. So 2 away. But the runners remain in scoring position for Carrick. So Snell under some duress here, self-inflicted. He walked the first 3 batters of this inning. And gets Carrick in an early hole, 0-1. Carrick is 0 for 1 today. Is batting .290 though. In modern times, this is where you typically see the top run producer in the lineup. You used to call the 4-hitter the cleanup. But quite often now you see the 3-hitter is that guy, along with the 4-hitter. And the next pitch to the 3-hitter is fouled. Counts 0-2. Two strikes on Carrick. And the pitch from Snell. Oh my gosh. It bounced in the dirt in front of the plate, and Carrick swung nonetheless. So, needless to say, fooled. And despite giving up a run, the Dodgers get out of that relatively inexpensively after Blake Snell walks the very first three batters. They faced a bases-loaded scenario with no outs. But the Rockies get on the board, and at the end of three, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Rockies 1. As you just saw, Tommy Edman set to come up. And Tomoyuki Sugano still in the game. Tommy Edman struck out on a Sugano slider. It's the first time up. Showed pretty good discipline until that pitch, and then chased one that was low. And he gets started with a strike here. Counts 0-1. Edman steps out of the box, gets ready to come back in. Edman batting .264 in the season. Next pitch misses low and outside. That one is low and in the strike zone. Edman swings and fouls it back. Counts 1-2 now. First month back, Edman was with the Dodgers after having his ankle surgery and then rehab in the offseason to follow the World Series. He was on fire. And needless to say, he looked very healthy, and he's really good on defense. Good at second base, good at third base, good at left field. He made a sprinting, diving catch in the Royals game. But after doing a great job the first month back at the plate and being in the high 300s in terms of his batting average, he's really slipped recently. A pitch to Edman is struck to right center, and it's going to be caught because it trails in this thin air at Denver. But it was well hit. No consolation to Edman, though. He's going to be 0 for 2. Next up is Teoscar Hernandez, batting in the 8th spot, and he's 0 for 1 tonight, batting .249 on the season. And that next pitch and first pitch to Teo swings and grounds it to Norby for the second out of the inning. Scano's given up 5 runs so far. First run he gave up was a double by Mookie Betts after Max Muncy, with his discipline, walked. And then Max Muncy did a whole lot more damage after that with a towering shot to the second deck at Coors Field. Fiducia, the catcher, Hunter Fiducia, comes up in the 9 spot. He's 0 for 1. The early count to Hunter Fiducia is 1-1. So Fiducia, one of 2 catchers that are splitting time behind the plate as Will Smith very slowly works his way back. That one's fouled off. Counts 1-2. But for a time, I was kind of pessimistic about whether Will Smith was going to rejoin the team. But he seems to be on track. And the question, of course, is the first time he takes hard contact, whether it's a foul ball to the head, he's got a neck strain. As Fiducia strikes out, and that's 3 out. Or a play at the plate, or he's rounding the bases, and who knows what kind of contact happens, or what kind of jarring when you slide, especially if it's a head-first play, how his neck's going to be. But the Dodgers need him in the worst way. They need his leadership, they need his bat, they need his clutch play. So hopefully he's able to join them in time for the playoffs. I'd be happy if he was able to do that in stick. But after Fiducia strikes out, we go to the bottom of the 4th with the Dodgers leading 5-1. So Willie Castro set to come up, and we'll see what kind of pitcher we get this inning. We've had 2 very different ones in the person of Blake Snell. The early one, under control, quick work, retiring the first 6 hitters for the Rockies. And then last inning, a walk machine. Walked the first 3 batters, loaded the bases with no outs. Could have been much worse for the Dodgers. Castro's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Snell has 3 on the night so far. And that one is swung on and missed. Counts 0-1. Pitch on the way. That one's also swung on and missed, so Castro chases 2 straight pitches that are low. And not able to track them properly, needless to say, and the count's 0-2. Steps in the box and then rethinks that, steps back out, try to gather himself and say, what am I seeing here? Snell getting him with back-to-back curveballs, although that one misses in pretty much the same spot. And so gathering himself worked for Castro. Counts 1-2. And that one misses low. Actually in the dirt, and the count's 2-2. This pitch is grounded to second. Tommy Edman picks it up, throws to first, in time for the first out of the inning. So Rumfield will come up the 5-hitter. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Hitting .290 on the season. Snell's now up to 55 pitches in this game. One misses low, counts 1-0. So he was missing high last inning. Obviously tried to make an adjustment. Now he's missing low. I wouldn't say he's really struggling necessarily. Counts 1-1 to Rumfield. This pitch hit to the left of Tommy Edman at second base. He slides and stops it, but then pops out of his glove. Well, not an easy play to make. And we'll see whether they decide that's a hit. They're going to call it an infield hit. So with one out, the Rockies have a runner at first. So Norby, the 6-hitter, is up with 0 for 1 on his ledger for tonight. Batting only .202 on the season. Swings and misses at that outside pitch. And the next one gets Norby swinging low, so the curveball's working well for Snell and getting the Rockies batters to chase. And with one out and a runner at first, Snell's got Norby in a hole 0-2. This one is swung on and hit to left field. And Teoscar Hernandez is going to round it up and keep the runner from advancing to third from first. And the trumpet, or is it the bugle, that plays the charge sound, comes over the PA system at Coors Field. And the Rockies fans hoping for a bit of a rally here, with runners at first and second, only one out. And Amador coming up. 7-hitter, walked, and scored the only run for the Rockies this game. Amador hit a home run yesterday versus the Giants as he fouls that one back. And the next pitch misses, and the count's 1-2. Amador hit that home run, went all the way into McCovey Cove, and splashed. And that one is fouled back. So the count remains 1-2 to Amador. Snell looks over and gets Amador looking for his next strikeout. So now the Rockies have 2 away, and the 8-hitter Sullivan is coming up, who walked tonight. Brett Sullivan's hitting .241 with 7 home runs and 26 RBI. Got that one off, well placed on the outside edge of the strike zone. Now regularly going to the curveball. Takes a glance at the runner and throws this one low for a ball, and the count's 1-1. So needless to say, Snell made a point after he went into the dugout to follow last inning of saying, I am not going to be throwing so many pitches high out of the strike zone. If anything, I'm going to throw them low. And to be fair, that's what the Rockies have chased a lot of the time tonight. Pitches well low out of the strike zone. In fact, he had a strikeout last inning to end the inning where it bounced in the dirt in front of home plate and the guy still swung. So needless to say, he's got a ton of movement on the ball. Dodgers infield is shifted to the right as Sullivan is on our right side. This one is fouled, flied, and in play for Max Muncy to make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. And at the end of 4, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Rockies 1. So Shohei Ohtani comes up again, who has a 21-game hitting streak at this field. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And that one catches the lower edge of the strike zone. Facing his fellow Patriot from Japan. And that one's driven deep to left center by Ohtani, and it's going to be gone for a home run. His 28th of the season. Konnichiwa, Shohei Ohtani. And the Dodgers now are up 6-1. Wow, what a blast. It's crazy how much power Ohtani has, because I've seen so many home runs where he just goes with a pitch that's somewhat outside and makes strong contact, needless to say, but hits it to left center. Does not have to pull the ball on a regular basis to hit home runs. And so he jumps one more home run further from Max Muncy in the Dodger home run totals after Muncy hit a 3-run home run earlier tonight. Now Freddie Freeman comes up and grounds it to second, and they make the play easily for the out. So 1 out. Leadoff home run for this inning from Shohei Ohtani. And now Andy Pages comes up. He's off to a strong start tonight and hits the very first pitch over the jumping head of the third baseman. And it's going to be trouble in the corner, and Andy Pages is easily going to stand up at second base for a double. So the Dodgers continue the hit parade early, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Now Max Muncy comes up, who last time up hit the longest home run of the season by any Dodger, 461 feet. And he loves this field. At Coors Field, he's 11 for 18 this season, with a double and 5 home runs, 8 RBI overall. Looks at that one, though, for a ball. Of course, Sagano's, I'm sure, scarred on some level from the last time Muncy had a trip to the plate. One out, runner at second. And he fouls that one off. Counts 1-0. Next pitch from Sagano to Muncy. And this one is grounded to second, and Norby just kicks the ball. Looks like he took his eye off it at the last second. And with 1 out now, the Dodgers have runners at the corners. And the nightmare for Sagano continues. So Mookie Betts comes up, who's 1 for 2. He hit a double to the fence in left center his first time up. And he's batting .238 on the season. Swings and misses at a pitch low and outside. Rockies pitching staff is pretty thin, so if you're asking yourself, why haven't they replaced this guy yet? Any other options? Of course, that's perfectly fine if you're a Dodger fan. Next pitch, misses low, and the count's 2-1 to Mookie Betts. And that one's fouled back by Mookie. Well, the count's 2-2 now. Dodgers off to a very strong start. A couple of home runs, one multi-run home run from Max Muncy. A towering shot to right field. Even the camera lost it in the second deck. And it ended up being 461 feet, the longest home run hit by a Dodger this year. And that one is low and in the dirt. And the count's full to Mookie Betts. Dodgers doing a good job keeping the pressure on the Rockies, starting the night with better plate discipline and patience. This one is grounded to shortstop. Tovar gets it and boots it as well, but then picks it up and throws it to first. But Andy Pages is able to score as a result of that bad defensive play, and that looks a little bit like the Dodgers' recent nightmares at home. But much better to watch the opponents go through it. Now the Dodgers bring home another run and score 7-1. Mookie almost beat that throw. It was a very close play. And give credit to Tovar for picking it up and still making the long throw in time. 2 away, Tucker's got a runner in scoring position. Looks at that one just catch the outside edge of the strike zone. Looked like a ball. It was a call to strike, and the count's 0-1. And that one clearly misses, and the count's evened up. So Dodgers look like they're going back to leaning on their discipline. It's a batting order that's a veteran staff. Forcing Sagano to make pitches. Tucker swings and misses at that. It's 1-2. Next pitch on the way to Tucker. And this one is fly to center field. Doesn't look like much trouble for Carrick. And he makes the catch for the third out. But the Dodgers get a couple more. We're all happy if you're a Dodger fan to see that kind of production. Although, welcome if you're a Rockies fan. This is part of the reason that we started this channel. Because too often I have been a home fan that gets blacked out. And so if this is a way for you to be able to experience the Rockies on some level, or if you're somebody that just can't watch it on TV because you don't have access, or you're used to the struggle of the whack-a-mole exercise where you're constantly trying to find where the game is, hopefully we can help you experience the game in a way that's meaningful to you. We're about to go to the bottom of the fifth, and the Dodgers are leading 7-1. So Ezequiel Tovar set to come up and face Blake Snell again. The Rockies scored their only run when Snell almost served it up to him, really, on a silver platter. Although you have to give any batter credit at working a count to the point where he walks. And that was during the inning where Snell walked the very first 3 batters. With no outs, is able to get out of a bit of a jam. And the damage could have been a lot worse. And the first pitch is a strike. Tovar fouls this one off. Counts 0-2. That one is flied behind shortstop, and it looks like Betts is going to be the one to make the play. As he turns over, his right shoulder opens up, and Teoscar says, okay, you want to come this deep, go for it. I'll dap you up after you make that catch. So now McCarthy comes up again. Blake Snell's pitch count is now at 73. He had 9 in the first inning, 9 in the second, then it ballooned to 31 and 20. Seems to kind of resettled. McCarthy is 0 for 2 tonight, but he's batting .294. It's awesome to hear. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Yeah, I was in the same situation when I moved from Los Angeles to San Diego initially. Part of my experience was I was in an apartment before I got a house. I was living on the cheap, didn't have cable, and I was just like, ugh. You know, I'm trying to get resettled socially, and so it was like, you know, I'm glad to move from Los Angeles, but I also have pride of being from there. But as I'm trying to get, like, resettled and reconnected, it helped to have, you know, the pro teams that I've always rooted for be able to connect with. But it was like whack-a-mole. What channel are they on? What platform are they on? Oh, wait, some people actually cover these teams on YouTube? Cool. But at the time, because there are a couple now, they were doing it illegally. You can't play the Dodgers radio broadcast illegally on YouTube, and you definitely can't show actual TV broadcast. But there are people that try to do it, or competitors that we have, as McCarthy goes down. Competitors that we have that just do it, and then once they get shut down and they get complaints, they have to restart a completely new channel. And essentially what they're doing is stealing intellectual property. And that's just not something I'm willing to do to sell out. So the 2-hitter Beck comes up, who's 0 for 2, batting .190. Two outs. Snell delivers to him outside, and the early count is 2-1. So for that reason, as a new channel, if you can like today to let the algorithm know we're doing things the right way, and share us with whoever you can, I'd appreciate it. That one just misses. Pitch on the way from Snell, and Beck swings. It's fly to right center. Somewhat deep in that thin Denver air, but well short of the warning track, and Tucker makes the catch for a nice, boring inning from Blake Snell. And at the end of 5, it's the Dodgers 7 and the Rockies 1. All right, so the Rockies bring in Mejia. Finally put Sagano out of his misery. But with a team that's at the bottom of the standings pretty much, can't do that every time you're in trouble. So Tommy Edman comes in. Edman's 0 for 2, batting .262. And if you're just joining right now, it's definitely some fireworks. It's just the fact that the Dodgers have 7 runs already. But that's involved some home runs, most notably the towering shot by Max Muncy into the second deck of right field that traveled 461 feet. Edman been struggling as of late, fouls that one. Edman struck out his first time at bat, chasing a ball that was too low, and then flied out the second time. And that one misses. For ball 2. And if Edman can get on base and use his speed, that'll definitely help. And this one is kind of catches him on the skinny part of the bat on the hands, but he's able to make contact and bloop it into right field just deep enough where Norby can't get to it. And a base hit, first one of the game for Tommy Edman. So leadoff batter on again for the Dodgers. And now Teoscar Hernandez comes up, trying to do something with it. And ball outside, 1-0. And the next pitch, slider outside. Although it caught the strike zone, Teoscar Hernandez has really struggled with those pitches, pretty much ever since he came back from his injury. He had a hamstring issue where he was out several weeks and had to very carefully work his way back. And there's exactly the pitch outside of the strike zone and low that he's been striking out on. So the count's 1-2 to Teo. Next pitch to Teoscar is driven deep to left. It's traveling. Left fielder is going over his left shoulder, but makes the catch at the warning track. But Tommy Edman still able to take advantage of that long fly and tag up, going from first to second. And that's one thing you can count on Tommy Edman to do pretty much all the time, is use his brain. He had an error, an uncharacteristic error, when they were playing against the Brewers on a play that was chopped to him and bases were loaded, and he was trying to come home to make a double play, and he just totally booted the ball. But now Hunter Fiducia comes up, who's 0 for 2. That one catches the strike zone of Fiducia, who's batting .236 this season. He has 3 home runs this year, 2 with Tampa Bay, and 1 with the Dodgers. That one misses inside, and the count's 1-2. Nine-hitter Fiducia. Browns chops it to first. First baseman gets off of first base and covers it up and runs to first. That moves Tommy Edman one more base closer to home. And now he's at third with 2 outs. And Shohei Ohtani coming up. Last time at bat, hit a home run to left center. Ohtani's 2 for 3 tonight. Now he's batting .291 on the season. And the reports are that even though it's been a long stretch going back to before the All-Star game, that he is slated to return to the mound at some point this season. Single right now will score Edman easily and give the Dodgers an 8-1 lead. As that one misses low, and the count now is 1-1 to Ohtani. And if you're joining us and you're a Rockies fan, welcome. And that one's outside. Counts 2-1. And the next pitch on the way for Ohtani to drive deep to right center. This is going to have to really carry far to be out because it's over the wall, the highest part of the wall, but it's far enough nonetheless. Another home run for Shohei Ohtani. Konnichiwa. Back-to-back home runs for Shohei Ohtani. Won 451 feet. And caught in the Dodgers bullpen by Hurt, who was jumping up and down like he was a fan. So excited that he caught a home run from his teammate. So back-to-back home runs for Shohei Ohtani. I think Kyle Hurt jumped up right away to get in position to catch that ball. And Freddie Freeman up now. And the early count to Freddie Freeman is 1-1. He's already got a hit tonight, and he has been struggling lately, so it was good to see that. And this one is line to left, and it's going to be trouble for the Rockies. It's going to curl into the corner, and Tommy Edman. Sorry, Freddie Freeman goes into second with a stand-up double. And he does the Freddie, of course. And the Dodgers are rolling. 9-1. And the hit parade continues. Quite the sight for sore eyes. That is if you're a Dodgers fan. So they are getting after Mejia. And with that stand-up double, Freddie Freeman is 24th all-time in professional baseball with 575 doubles. So now Pages comes up, who's 2 for 3 tonight. Batting .272 on the season now. And Pages steps out the last second and calls timeout. A few boos from the Rockies fans who know that if you call that a split second later and Mejia's in the throes of his throwing motion, he can get injured. He's going to be okay, and he's going to continue. Pages has a single and a double tonight. Pops that one back. Next pitch from Mejia to Pages. On the way and grounded right up the middle. And they're going to send Freddie Freeman home. He is going to score standing up. Maybe he's a little faster than I give him credit for, because he didn't even have to slide. And with that single, another RBI for Andy Pages, which I think is going to bring him to 80 on the season now. Well, the command center hasn't clicked in yet. But the Dodgers up now 10-1, and it's only the top of the sixth. So now Max Muncy's up. 1 for 2. He's walked. And he was singled home. And the early count to him is 1-1. But most notably, Muncy hit a 3-run shot to the second level. And Coors Field has been kind to the Dodgers tonight. That one misses low, and the count to Muncy is 2-1. This one misses just inside for ball 3, and the count's 3-1 to Max Muncy. And that one is hit solid right up the middle to center field for another base hit. And Max Muncy's been on base 4 times already tonight. Pushes Pages to second base. Carrick scoops it up and throws it in. And the Dodgers, not just scoring, but scoring with 2 outs. They're scoring all the ways you want to see them score tonight. Especially a lot. So that brings up Mookie Betts, who's 1 for 3. And he led off his game at the plate with a double. 0 for the last 2 times. Score now 10-1 Dodgers. Late discipline and patience tonight. Definitely paying off. Mookie fouls that one back. Counts 0-2. One fouled back and out of play. Count remains 0-2. 2 outs. Runners at first and second. And that one misses high and just a touch inside. Now the count's 1-2. Pitch hit by Betts to center field, and it's going to be caught by Carrick for the 3rd out. But Shohei Ohtani starts this inning with fireworks, hitting it over the highest part of the fence, just right of center. And the Dodgers now going to the bottom of the 6th, lead by 9. All right, so Blake Snell continues for the moment. And he's going to face Carrick, who was kind of busy last inning. And this one is hit to the left side of second base. Tommy Edman goes all the way to the other side of second base, grabs the ball and throws off balance to first in time for the out. Wow. And just has a sly little grin. Woo! Holy smokes, what a play. Outstanding job by Tommy Edman. Already shifted over there, but had to cross over. Do an outstanding job of not only reaching that ball, but throwing it almost instantaneously once it reached the glove. Castro fouls that one off. Four-hitter Castro is 0 for 2. Hitting 261. That one misses low, and the early count to Castro is 2-1. And that one is popped up foul just to the right of first base, but it's going to be playable for Freddie Freeman, who makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So TJ Rumfield comes up. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. Now the count's 0-2. That one misses outside. So the count's 1-2 with 2 outs, and Snell is up to 88 pitches tonight. And this one is grounded to Mookie Betts, who's playing over. Dives for the ball, picks it up, and throws from his knees in time. So the Dodgers clicking on all cylinders in all facets this game. And it's great to see them with outstanding effort on defense and just overall be the Dodgers that we know that they can be. I'm not going to read too much into this game, but boy, it's great to see. And at the end of 6 now, the Dodgers are up 10-1. So Shook comes in relief for the Rockies. And he's going to face Kyle Tucker. Looks like Blake Snell's done for the evening. Outstanding once again, although he struggled in the middle of that outing. And Tucker grounds out to second for the first out in the top of the seventh. If you're just joining us, welcome. And you're welcome whether you're a Dodgers fan, like me, or you're a Rockies fan. As I was saying earlier, we started this channel recently for all fans, especially those that have a home team that they can't watch because they're blacked out, or maybe the game, for whatever reason, is inaccessible, or you're looking for another way to kind of experience the game, even if you're also watching it. One of the things that we want to do is hear from you all and use the tools at our disposal. 3D allows us to watch the game however we want to, from whatever angles we want to. As Tommy Edman comes up, who just collected his first hit of the evening, and he's 1 for 3. We also have a custom command center, as you can see in the top left corner of your screen, that's constantly updating matchups and statistics. An LA press box in the next couple of weeks is also going to expand to football. We'll be watching the Dodgers, and we'll be watching LA football. The Dodgers tonight, though, have just become the Dodgers again. If for only one night. Needless to say, it's been a roller coaster if you are a Dodgers fan recently. They had their longest losing streak finally snapped at 7 a couple of weeks ago. Then they had a homestand as Edman flies to left, but it looks like it's going to be playable, and it is for the second out of the inning. They swept the Kansas City Royals, feeling like things were definitely going in a significantly more positive direction. Then they faced the Brewers, and the Brewers took 3 of 4. And part of that, give credit to the Brewers first and foremost, was the Dodgers in the field making physical and mental errors on defense. And then most notably at the plate, swinging at stuff well outside the strike zone, and I think taking it upon themselves to try to use one swing to redirect the team in a positive direction. That just doesn't work in baseball. And so Dave Roberts had some very direct words for the Dodger team yesterday, and they've heeded that. In part, what he said was they need to be more disciplined and more patient at the plate. And you can see right from the first 2 innings, that was the approach the Dodgers were going to take against Sagano. They made him throw strikes. They put runners on, more than one runner on early. And then waited for their pitches and taken advantage. Freddie Freeman has 2 hits tonight after struggling recently at home, although he went into that homestand with, I think it was a 17-game hitting streak. The biggest fireworks tonight are from Max Muncy and Shohei Ohtani. As Teoscar Hernandez, once again, like a broken record, it's Groundhog Day, where he chases a breaking ball outside. Everybody in the league knows that you can get Teo doing that. Use a curveball or a sweeper or a slider that starts in the strike zone and breaks out late, and you almost have a guaranteed strikeout from Teo. But as we were saying earlier, we had Max Muncy hit a 3-run home run, 461 feet into the second deck of Coors Field over right field. And that was recorded as the longest hit by a Dodger this season. Shohei Ohtani, he just hit back-to-back home runs. So we'll see what happens the next time he comes up. And the Dodgers are just rolling. They really are. So hopefully they can carry this momentum throughout the rest of this series. Or they finally get a day off Thursday and then come back home. And now it looks like Alex Vesia is going to come in relief to the bottom of the seventh, with the Dodgers leading 10-1. And we'll take this as an opportunity to take a look at the box score. Take myself off camera for a second so we can actually see. And take the command center off. So yeah, here's the box score so far for tonight. In fact, what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to zoom in. So Shohei Ohtani, 4 at-bats, scored 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 home runs. His average is ticked up to 290 now, 293. Freddie Freeman with a couple of hits. Andy Pages with a couple of hits. Max Muncy wisely placed in the cleanup spot at 4th, hitting that 3-run home run. Mookie Betts with a hit. The only person that doesn't have a hit, actually 3, are Hunter Fiducia, Teoscar Hernandez, and Kyle Tucker, who continues to struggle and who was booed at home. Where he was 0 for 19 in the homestand at Dodger Stadium. He was booed when he booted a ball, although it was difficult to get to, right as he got a glove on it and short of right field. So Norby's up and looks at that pitch from Vesia, high for a ball. This one's flied high over to Tucker, and he's running up in right field, and he's in position. And then he just goes to a knee and drops it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm willing to be forgiving about the one that he had the other day. But hopefully you had a little bit of a look at that there. And he slumps with his body language back to deeper right field. And he should. That was terrible. I mean, they're under the lights. They're not in the sun. It's not Dodger Stadium at 3:45 p.m. So the Rockies start with a runner at second because of the error by Kyle Tucker. And now Amador comes up and looks at a strike on the lower outside corner. Needless to say, Vesia not happy about that one, although it won't be recorded as a base hit given up by Vesia. This means he has to pitch more. And of course, the longer you pitch, the more susceptible you are to giving up hits, as this one is chopped too short, and it's going to be thrown to first for the first out. Runner advances from second to third. Now Brett Sullivan's going to come up. Sullivan's 0 for 1 tonight. He's batting .239. And something that I was saying in Kyle Tucker's favor, actually earlier tonight, he's pretty good in right field. But he was anything but on that error. And Sullivan, the 8-hitter, swings and misses at that. Count is 1-2. And that one is swung on and missed. This one misses outside. And this one is line to Tucker. He makes the catch. There's going to be a tag up and a play at the plate. Tucker throws all the way home. One short bounce before the catcher gets it and tries to make the tag, but it is not in time. So, unfortunately for Tucker, getting all kinds of screen time and close-up shots on the live broadcast. And you see him muttering to himself, but trying not to be demonstrative about whatever he's saying. Probably be wise to just cover his mouth with his glove, as so many people do on TV. But I can't put that whole thing on Kyle Tucker. Catcher's got to take the glove to a better spot at the sliding tagging player, as this one is driven deep to left field. Teoscar Hernandez is actually running hard for a change. Thank you, Teo. And he makes the catch for the third out of the inning. So the Rockies get one. But at the end of 7, it's still the Dodgers leading by a sizable margin, 10-2. So TJ Shock back into the game to face Hunter Fiducia. Hunter's 0 for 3 tonight. It is first home run as a Dodger about 2 weeks ago. Fiducia grounded out in the 6th. He's batting .235 on the season. And has a total of 3 home runs, 2 with Tampa Bay before he joined the Dodgers at the trade deadline. And that one misses outside. That one catches the strike zone, up and out, and count is 1-1. Make that 1-2 after that swing and miss. That one is fouled, left of third base. And that one misses high. And then flied out, and that's going to bring up Shohei Ohtani. Hold on to your seats. He will not be bunting. He's hit back-to-back home runs. And that one misses. Counts 1-1 to Ohtani. And that one drops in for a strike, and the count's 1-2. And this one he reaches out and pokes to center, and it's going to drop for a base hit. So Ohtani again, and then they boot the ball, flubbed by the center fielder, thrown in wildly as nobody's covering second base, and Ohtani ends up on second. Dropped it in, and then Carrig just hit off of his glove. And he clearly took his eye off as he was trying to make contact with that ball. And that's one of the things that'll get you fired in the major leagues. You need to make every single defensive play that's expected. I mean, if you watch pro baseball, if you have for any length of time, you know that they just don't drop the ball, generally speaking, although we've seen some exceptions in the last week. So Freddie Freeman comes up, who, fortunately, if you're a Dodger fan, is 2 for 4 tonight. And that just pushed his average right back up to 300. 300 for his career. That one misses high, and the count's 1-1. And this one is pushed to left field, and it's going to definitely be trouble. Shohei Ohtani is going to score easily on this one, and Freeman is in to stand up at second for a double. Another double, his second of the game. He is a double machine. And as we said earlier tonight, he's in the top 25 all-time in baseball in hitting doubles. He's at 576 now, 2 away from tying Wade Boggs, who had quite an interesting shirtless photo on social media last week. But who knows what's real anymore? Where they at? My son's a programmer and studied computer science in college, and I said, if I were you, man, take this with a grain of salt, because I am not a computer science guy. I would put all my effort into trying to work with people to help verify what the truth is, whether it's social media or otherwise. And almost like when they first went to those parental warning stickers on music albums, all about the lyrics and the content, you're starting to see this now, that people are going to start to want to demand more real. They want to know if you're looking at something AI or not. And who knows whether or not like laws are going to shift to support that. But needless to say, I think a lot of us don't know what to believe in the age of AI more and more. Seems like that picture of Wade Boggs is legit, but I couldn't tell you. So Andy Pages comes up, and he's going to have his crack at TJ Shook. That one, well placed, fouled back for a full count. So man at second, only one out. And Pages, good patience and discipline, looks at that one for ball 4. So hopefully at this point in the game, the Dodgers are going to make some substitutions, a whole bunch of them on defense, but also in the batting order, to get some of these veterans who are long in the tooth, as they say, some rest, get them off their feet, especially because they're in the middle of a stretch where they're playing like a week and a half without a single day off. And it looks like Dave Roberts is going up right on cue, actually, in the dugout to Miguel Rojas. talk to him about getting in the game. He should play Miguel. He should play Kiki Hernandez. Alex Call, probably. Should get all those guys in the game. Get these veterans off their feet because we're not even close to the playoffs, and it's a really long slog. This is the thing, too, that I think also factors into baseball the way that it does in other pro sports. If you've won championships, like the Dodgers have the last 2 seasons, you've played most games of anybody. And the major leagues is such a long season. It's 162 games as Max Muncy flies out here. If you have a bunch of veterans, it takes toll on their body. They've played more games. And I think it probably comes into play as much as any place in pro basketball. So 2 away now. Mookie Betts comes up, who's 1 for 4. With a runner at first and second. Pitch from Shook to Betts is swung on and flied to shallow right, where the catch is going to be made, but the Dodgers add another run. Push their run total up to 11, and as we go to the bottom of the 8th, it's the Dodgers 11 and the Rockies 2. All right, so Miguel Rojas is in. So is Kike Hernandez. And Alex Call. So all 3 of them. Awesome. Thanks for listening, Dave Roberts. And Evan Phillips comes in relief. He's going to face Zach Veen, who's 3 for 12 this season. So the Rockies taking some opportunities to get some other guys playing time as well. But the Dodgers with an offensive explosion tonight in all kinds of ways. No stolen bases. But really, it's kind of started as Veen hits this one. Started with plate discipline and patience. And it followed a talking to and a public criticism, really, by their manager, Dave Roberts. But you could see this the last couple of games, and that's something that we were commenting on. We're saying, look, stop trying to to turn the entire franchise around with one swing, chasing stuff. It's not even in the strike zone. You're the Dodgers, and you have all kinds of veterans that have seen thousands and thousands of pitches. So use your eye and your experience to force pitchers to throw strikes. Drive up pitch counts, get people on base, increase the pressure. That's exactly what they've done. Freddie Freeman's hit a couple of doubles tonight. He has 3 hits. Mookie Betts hit a double. Handful of singles. Then really the headlines are the home runs by Max Muncy and Shohei Ohtani. Shohei hit back-to-back home runs. His second after hitting his first to left center over the tall right center wall and caught there by one of the Dodgers relievers. He was jumping up and down like he was a fan at a game. Max Muncy hit a 3-run home run, and it was the longest ball hit by a Dodger this season. It was in the perfect spot for him, and he got all of it, and I think it crossed the wall in right field before it landed on the second deck, before Max stepped out of the box. I mean, he knew he got all of that and more. So Phillips working to the number 2 hitter back, and this one is hit deep into left center field. Pages going back and makes the catch on the warning track. So Phillips retired his first 2. Now he's going to face Cole Carrig, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Carrig last inning dropped a single that dropped in front of him from Shohei Ohtani. Just clanked off of his glove, and Shohei immediately went to second base. This one misses low from Phillips. This pitch is grounded to first. Kike Hernandez, who's in for, gosh, I'm blanking out. Freddie Freeman, sorry, picks it up and steps on first base. Getting some much desired playing time after he's returned from injury. And at the end of 8, it's the Dodgers 11 and the Rockies 2. All right, so the Rockies bring in Johnston for the top of the 9th. He's going to face Kyle Tucker, who's 0 for tonight, and who had an inexplicable error where he came up a couple of innings ago in right field to a ball that was hit shallow, and then last second kind of buckled to a knee and dropped the ball. Then shortly after that, had a ball that was hit directly to him and didn't catch it in the best body position and wasn't able to throw home in time for the runner that tagged. And now Tucker is 0 for 5. And if he doesn't get things straightened out in the next couple of games, he will hear even louder boos than he heard yesterday when the Dodgers return to Dodger Stadium later this week. The 7-hitter, Tommy Edman, comes up, who once again made an outstanding defensive play tonight. And the first pitch hits him right in the leg. He doesn't move. Thank you. See, Tommy Edman is not a huge guy. And he let the ball hit him. He's fine. Now, I'm not saying if the ball's coming for your head that you just stand in there. But more guys need to do that. In fact, some of the reason for it, I think, is because the Rockies have a guy that might be an infielder throwing right now. It's almost like batting practice. He's just throwing cheese. So he's throwing like 72-mile-an-hour balls in their changeups, technically, or sliders, technically. And the Rockies are allowing the Dodgers to just tee off if they can. So we'll see if Teoscar Hernandez can do it, but Kyle Tucker couldn't even hit off this guy. Sorry, Kike. Sorry, it's Kike it's in, not Teo. Different Hernandez. And Kike flies to right, and it's going to be no trouble there. Caught for the second out. So when it rains, it pours. And Kike, who's struggling, and Kyle Tucker, who's struggling, not able to get a hit off of Johnston, who's just throwing it in there and allowing the Dodgers to take their hacks. Here comes another guy who's 0 for tonight, Hunter Fedusha. He's 0 for 4. And the first two pitches miss high, 2-0. And that one's high and inside, and Fedusha check swings, sort of. Kind of a semi-protective check swing. And the ball makes contact with the bat and just ricochets off for a strike. That one he swings at intentionally and fouls off for a strike. So the count's 2-2. And that one misses high for ball 3, and it's a full count. So, second of two yeoman catchers, Ben Johnston, who did not get the start tonight. Sorry, Ben Rotvet. Gets up and is able to take his hacks. Fedusha got the start tonight. Ben Rotvet probably get the start tomorrow. They kind of just alternate back and forth, hoping, waiting that Will Smith will return. However, Rotvet is hitting .295 this year. So runners are first and second with 2 outs. Excuse me. That one misses. Tomorrow, Eric Lauer will get the start against, I believe, Ryan Feltner. It'll be the same time. And that one is fouled back, and the count's 1-2 to Rortvedt. And he looks a little bit unhappy with the fact that he's down in the count. The dude that's just in there to put the ball in play. And that one is grounded to short, and it's going to be picked up and thrown to first in time for the third out. So the Dodgers don't get any hits, let alone any runs. But they do have some subs in, and the Rockies are 3 outs away from this nightmare being over. We go to the bottom of the ninth, and it's the Dodgers 11 and the Rockies 2. All right, everybody. While waiting for the Rockies to come up, let's go ahead and take a look at how things have gone so far according to the box score tonight. You can see that Shohei Ohtani, after 5 at-bats, ended up with 4 hits, 2 of them home runs that were back-to-back. Alex Call is in the game now. Freddie Freeman got on track again, thankfully, and a couple of hits tonight. Actually, 2 doubles in his collection of hits. Andy Pages did a solid job. Max Muncy with a towering shot. The longest ball hit by a Dodger this season. Mookie Betts with 1 hit. Kyle Tucker 0 for 5. And so really entering probably his toughest stretch of the season. We'll see what happens with him. Edman with a hit, and once again, some stellar defensive play. Teoscar Hernandez not looking good, and Hazy does at least once a game, chasing a curveball outside the strike zone for strike 3. And then Fadouche doing a solid job behind the plate, but without a hit. The big story, of course, is Blake Snell giving them a chance early, as those Dodger hitters got all over the Rockies in the first couple of innings offensively. And so Edwin Diaz comes in, who's another story for the Dodgers during their struggles. Gave up 3 saves over the course of a week, and has the history of being an outstanding reliever. But a lot of people losing faith in him as a result of his performance. So Dave Roberts giving him a chance to kind of get some more confidence in a situation where there is no pressure. But right away, he comes in and gives up a hit to Castro. And the thing that I've said about Diaz recently is, as a sidearm pitcher, if your stuff is not moving very much, it is pretty easy to track the ball. Because when you throw like 3/4 or straight overhead, there's 4 directions the ball can move. Well, if you're a sidearm pitcher, it's much more limited in terms of high and low. Much more left to right. And so that bat, which is also swinging on a horizontal plane, so to speak, even with the ground, has a much easier time connecting. The thing that Dave Roberts can't do is just continue to throw him out there blindly based on his past as a closer when it's a meaningful game and a meaningful situation like it is right now. I mean, unlike the time that it is right now. So Rumfield is in. And he hits Rumfield, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness. So Edwin Diaz comes in, gives up a hit, then hits the next guy. And so far, the exact opposite of a confidence builder. Now, this is not Rumfield. 3D is in transition. It is Norby. And Norby swings at the very first pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball to center field. And the runner at second is going to tag the third, and with 2 outs, the Rockies have runners at the corners. You know what? They're showing 2 outs in the broadcast, but the command center is correct. I was like questioning myself, but there's only 1 out right now. Oh, now they fix it on the broadcast. Our command center knows. It took days to program this thing, but it was worth the struggle. And now Amador comes up, and he singles to center. And the Rockies collect not just a hit, but a run. And the score goes to 11-3. So, still 1 out. And now runners at first and second. Edwin Diaz has been amongst the best closers in baseball, but he looks like anything but right now. So now the 8-hitter Sullivan comes up. Sullivan's 0 for 1. He's batting .239 this year. Fouls that one back and out of play. The other thing about a sidearm pitcher, I think, is it's really hard if you've got a sidearm delivery to be accurate. That one is way inside, but Sullivan swings anyway and fouls it to the right of first base. And Sullivan swings at this one, and it's also right up the middle for a base hit. And Kike comes over and says something to Edwin Diaz. Kike is not afraid to say whatever's on his mind. People took issue with the Dodgers last year. He basically flipped off the television camera and said, that's just the way it is. But Diaz now, with 1 out, has bases loaded. And now he's going to face the shortstop, Ezequiel Tovar. And that one swung on a miss, and the count's 1-1. Bases loaded, 1 out. There's some of these Dodgers are like, let's just end this thing and get back to the hotel. That one misses well outside, and the count's 2-1. This pitch also misses outside, not as far, but clearly outside. Now the count's 3-1. And Diaz is 1 pitch away from walking home another run. Pitch is in there, and Tovar fouls it back, and the count's full. And in a way, the Dodgers are kind of stuck because they don't have like a position player like the Rockies used last time out to come in, like, I don't know, Kike or Miguel Rojas, just to pitch and get the game over. Because Dave Roberts put all those guys into the game. So it'd have to be an actual reliever who probably would not be happy having to work on a day where the Dodgers have so clearly outclassed the Rockies. But he gets that guy to fly out, fortunately. And third base tags, and Colorado scores another run. Now there's 2 outs. And 2 on, with the score now being the Dodgers 11 and the Rockies 4. Now Veen's going to come up, who's 0 for 1 after being subbed into the game late. Seeing the Dodgers trying to get their last out. And Veen looks at that pitch inside. This one is cranked over the head of Kike Hernandez, shorter than their normal first baseman. Curls into the corner, bounces off of the wall, and another run's coming home. So Edwin Diaz just absolutely horrible. Horrible. And now the score is 11-5. 11-5 with 2 outs, runners at second and third. And now Tanner Scott is in the bullpen getting loose, which is the last thing they want to do, is bring in the guy who should be their closer to this game. Now Beck comes in. And this one is swung on and it's flied to right. And it looks like it should be caught for the 3rd out. And it is by Kyle Tucker, who's able to end a nightmarish night on a mildly positive note by catching that one. And the Dodgers finally end this one. But the headline is that it was a much-needed, complete performance by the Dodgers, setting Edwin Diaz aside. And a really good rebound game after a disappointing home series versus the Milwaukee Brewers. But an outstanding job by Blake Snell once again. Got a little bit of trouble in the 3rd inning. But ultimately only gave up 1 run. He'll get the win. And the Dodgers, thanks to being patient and disciplined at the plate, jumped all over the Rockies early with hits, doubles, and home runs, most notably back-to-back home runs by Shohei Ohtani in his 2nd and 3rd at-bats. I think it was 2nd and 3rd. I think it was 3rd and 4th. And then Max Muncy hitting a 3-run home run that went into the second deck at Coors Field, 461 feet, for the longest hit by a Dodger this season. And so it's great to see the Dodgers get untracked, and hopefully they take the same philosophy, patience and discipline at the plate, into tomorrow's game. Either way, we'll be here to see that one for you guys, and to bring you, as always, both the command center and the commentary. We appreciate everybody who joined us tonight. Tomorrow, Eric Lauer gets the start. Last time he was out, outstanding outing for the starting pitcher, and I believe he went 113 pitches, which was great to see. And it's also great to see not just the Dodgers now, at least for tonight, having an offensive explosion, but to see the starting pitching really start to get solidified and stable, and perhaps become a strength, if not the strength, of the Dodgers ball club. But that's all we have from LA Press Box tonight. Thanks again for joining.